technical
No
issue.
problem. Shall we start it again?
Yeah, I will put the timer now.
Anush, ma'am oda video. Anush.
A very good afternoon to the respected principal, head of the department, tutor, participants, and all my dear fellow mates. To start off with something inspiring, forget all the reasons why it won't work and believe the one reason why it will.
Welcome to the inaugural event of Spark 2020 conducted by the Department of Computer Science with Data Analytics. This is an Ideathon event where various participants compete in teams or as individuals with their problem solving skills.
To give it a good start, now I call upon Dr. Kamachi from the Department of Data Analytics to deliver the welcome address.
Respected HOD Dr. R. Sridevi ma'am, our beloved student coordinators and volunteers, dear participants, and my dear students, good evening all. I'm extremely honored to have the chance to address you in this prestigious moment when the Department of Computer Science with Data Analytics conducted an innovative Ideathon event called Spark 2020. On behalf of Computer Science with Data Analytics Department of PSG College of Arts and Science, I welcome you all for this opening ceremony of Spark 2020. Spark 2020 is an innovative idea to expose the talents of young minds. This is the better platform to the participants to show their innovative skill to the outside world. The goal of Spark 2020 is brainstorming, that is, a group of activity technique by which efforts are made to find a conclusion for a specific problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously contributed by the participants. Once again, I welcome you all for the wonderful occasion of Spark 2020.
Thank you so much for your warm welcome, ma'am. Now I call upon Dr. Sridevi Ashok Kumar, head of the department, for the inaugural address.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I take this opportunity to express my gratitude and thanks to PSG management, our secretary sir, principal ma'am, and vice principal sir for giving us permission to conduct this event. On behalf of PSG College of Arts and Science, I am extremely happy to invite you all for this Ideathon Spark 2020. This is the first event of this kind conducted by the Department of Computer Science with Data Analytics to explore the creativity of our young minds. I would really appreciate the staff coordinator, Dr. A. Kamachi ma'am, and all the student organizers for their meticulous effort they put in for today's happenings. It's nice to see so many young and enthusiastic participants here. I would like to congratulate all the participants who have joined with us today to make it a real successful event. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a true leader. I hope this interdepartmental Ideathon create an environment where the young minds of the nation can utilize their skills for the betterment of the society. The youth of today should be cautious of their role in the progress of the nation, and exceptional platforms like this channelize their energies in bringing up their remarkable, innovative solutions to day-to-day problems. I'm extremely happy that a number of students and a number of teams are happily participating in this event to share their ideas and innovations. Your innovations, research, and developments help our PM sirs make in India, Startup India, and Stand Up India a bigger way. A honorable defeat is better than a dishonorable victory. So, my dear children, Just get into it, think as innovative as possible, and come out with colorful and creative solutions for the problem statements. Thank you all for being here, and I'm sure you'll set a high standards for the competitions to come in the future years also. I wish you all a very success and look forward to the creativity of you, the super minds of PSG CAS. All the very best, and thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your words. Hey, do you know what is an ideathon?
Yeah, kind of, but not sure.
Well, don't you worry. Our fellow mates are for the rescue. Now I call upon Anush and Akshita from the Department of Computer Science with Data Analytics to elaborate about this event.
Thank you, Dhanush. So, Ideathon is a place where a lot of ideas, innovations play around to solve a problem that we have every day. Best products are the ones which solve our day-to-day problems. And Ideathon, I consider, is a birth of such innovations and ideas. So when Ideathon happens, a lot happens. Like the entire event goes on for 2 days. Basically, Ideathon happens with a 2-day event where different ideas where different ideas come together, different people with different backgrounds come together to make their product one of the best available. A lot of ideas like came out of such ideathons, and we here want to make sure that you as students, your energy, your creativity, and your unique ideas find the right platform. So I'm here to give you a small guide on how you can make how you can make use of the 2 days to make your product the best one which is in here. So something about me. I'm Anush Krishna, and I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I'm from Department of Data Computer Science with Data Analytics. I have won the most innovative hack award at the Microsoft Hack for Africa hackathon, and I have mentored over 15 hackathons. I'm an official Major League Hacking mentor, and have judged at a hackathon representing Microsoft. And and I'm here to share you for the next 30 to 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to share you the best tips that you can follow to make this weekend the best you have. And I have a friend with me here. Her name is Akshita. We have competed in hackathons at both national and international level, and we have secured the finals in a couple of them. So she would be sharing you few tips on how to make your journey in these 2 days the most effective one. Akshita, are you here? Can you introduce yourself? Okay, I'll introduce her. So Akshita is from Bangalore, and she's a second year student and who's working towards creating the most innovative challenges solutions possible. And she's also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador as well as a Google Developer Lead. And we are here to share our tips, what we faced during our journey in making the most successful product at a hackathon. So your 2 days is going to be very time constrained. Like you'll be you're 24 you have to make best use of your 48 hours which is given to you. You need to make sure that your team is well planned. The way you must make sure that you delegate your work effectively, because you're going to be running against the clock, and you need to make sure that the team of 4 to 5 people are the best possible work has been divided effectively, because trust me, delegating the work will be important, and whatever your idea turns out and however it turns out, don't give up, because our the hackathon which we reached finals, we recreated the entire application, we recreated the entire idea from scratch in the last 5 hours, and all that mattered was our idea and what impact it created. And talking about idea, for me, I like to look into problems which is in my day-to-day life. Like my last hackathon was actually inspired by a problem which I faced personally. What was that we had an application which would make the admission processes into colleges more easier, and like it will unite a lot of colleges into one place so that the searching for best colleges would be more feasible. And that was my idea, like that was a problem which we faced. And one more product which we built was to to collect the migratory laborers database and to provide them jobs based on their location. And say, see, these ideas are based on a real day-to-day life scenarios, but when put together as an idea and built upon, it could be something more. Uber is a very simple, is a great example for that. Uber solved a problem that people are not able to book cars or cabs from right from their home. Just for Swiggy, Swiggy solved the problem that people doesn't want to go outside to buy food. So they what they did, they had an idea and they solved it by delivering the food right to their home. So these ideas are finds the next generations or next big app. So your ideas here could be invaluable, and your ideas, if it solves a problem that we face on a day-to-day life, could be more valuable to people out there. And you never know, we have our next biggest startup here. So make use of these 2 days effectively, and make sure that you delegate your work, you plan it accordingly. And as far as presentation is concerned, you need to make sure that you present your ideas in the most feasible way. Like, there are few best practices to be followed while presenting your idea to the judges. So you should make sure that you are on point and you are explaining your idea well. Make sure you cut short your ideas. Don't we have 5 minutes, and you need to, and maximum humans concentration length is about 1 to 2 minutes. So I want to ask Akshita to give a small talk on how to make the presentation the best available.
Hello, hey everyone. It's amazing to be here. And yes, I am so sorry for the delay. Anush already introduced me. And so I'll first give a brief about myself. I'm Akshita Sharma. I'm a DSC lead and a Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador at my community. And yes, my tech stack does include Android, cloud, and including data science. So yes, it's amazing to be here. And
Akshita, you're not audible.
I think you're not audible, Akshita.
am I audible
Yes,
now?
now it is audible.
Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
No problem. Welcome,
And
Akshita.
thank you, ma'am. And Anish?
I'm here.
So,
Shall we
yeah.
begin?
So,
Yeah,
yeah, let's start.
sure. So Akshita will be here sharing ideas on how to make your presentation the best you can give.
Yeah, how do I share my screen? I have a short presentation for all of you, which would make it a little more interesting. And
Sure,
yes, let's get started then. Um, just give me a second.
sure.
Okay. So as Anush told me, this is the first Ideathon at your campus. And yes, it's pretty interesting. So yes, as you all have already have a brief about me. So before starting about a few ideas, I want to just give you a few insights to what actually would matter when you work on these ideas. You can get ideas from various sources, but what matters is first executing them and using them efficiently. So we'll have a talk on time management, and you can see two images here. One, there's a person saying, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And then you'll have someone in your group who would be like, yes, I know this technology and how to use that technology. And he would be the do it all and he would have a lot to do. So how to avoid this chaos caused in the group? So how do you actually not end up being like one of those two people there? What you can do is you can List down the skills needed for the hackathon. And for the ideathon you'll be executing or any idea you'll be working on. Then we'll have how do you use the technology efficiently. So yes, in case you're going to work on Google technologies, you can have a brief about, or you can go look up, you can go to YouTube. There are so many free sources available online. There are so many free courses available out there in the market. And in this days of online, and as you all are doing everything from your home, and it's just so accessible, so you can use technology the way you want. You can just go to YouTube, you can find the best course, you can go, the Edureka courses, there are so many courses out there. So yes, you can have technology which will be used efficiently. And the most important thing is a Kanban board. Kanban board is the savior to any hackathon. And yes, Anush was the one who introduced me to Kanban board. And yes, I did get a lot used to it. This is an example of a Kanban board on how it works. And yes, having Scrum calls with your teammates. Scrum calls with your teammates would be something like, yes, in case you are working on an idea, and let's think you're building an application which is a chatbot, and you're building a chatbot. One person's collecting data, but the other person doesn't. You have already communicated that one person's collecting data and might get busy and might not be able to communicate with you guys saying that he's collecting the data and what data he has collected. You guys might end up collecting the same set of data, which wouldn't be much efficient for you guys as well. So what you can do instead is communicate, write down on the Kanban board, or write down what you guys have got and what you guys need. So you can write down, okay, I have got you, in case you're working on a medical chatbot. So what would you need for medical chatbot? You would need patient records, you would need hospital details, you need Google Map APIs and stuff. So how do you do that? So that you can have one person who's working on getting the patient records, one person's getting in working on, getting in APIs, listing down the APIs will be needed and how you'll be executing it. So you can just list it down and work more efficiently and save a lot of your time. Then you can have scrum calls and stay in touch. Especially, I remember me and Anush, when we were doing our very first hackathon, we had to stay up like 24 hours. And then we were like, okay, we were all sleepy. And what we did is instead, we know if we're just like lying down on a bed or sitting on a table and working, we might, lose the motivation and we might just be demotivated. We might be like, okay, let's not do this, like let's take a small break. We might not get up as well. We might be like, okay, let's sleep 1 more hour, doesn't matter. So what here is where scrum calls come in, where you can have calls and you can just talk to your teammates and they can be like, okay, so this is what I've already done and this is what we are doing right now. You can just have a small chit chat with your teammates. It's like a complete entire bonding. I guess me and Anush also did bond over the hackathon on scrum calls, right, Anush?
Yep,
Hello.
like we used to have team calls where we used to discuss about things. Like what we followed is like time is very crucial, and we had to work about 20 to 22 hours a day. So what we did is like in a team of 4 people, we used to take turns, and we used to like 2 people used to work on a project and 2 people used to sleep. So we actually kind of slept only 4 hours on a typical hackathon weekend. We go to hackathon every weekend, and what we do is like we sleep for 4 hours a day, and we make sure that the other person is always present. Like there are two purple persons already working on a project. So for Ideathon, since you don't have to build an entire project, you're gonna have to you have to research and you have to find ideas. What you guys can do is like you can take turns, you can decide who's going to work on a particular thing. The most important part here is delegation of work. So you must clearly know what work you're going to do, and you need to keep working on that. And as human, we all of us need some rest, right? So we can't work to a longer period of time. So what you can guys do, you can talk to each other, and you can tell them that we can have a call every 3 hours, every 4 hours to a talk. So that's what, like, just to make sure that we don't get all sleepy and we don't get like, because when you sleep and when you wake, you won't, like, when you work for 20 hours a stretch and you just go and fall asleep, you won't have the will to wake up again. It's like, let it go, let this project go away. I just want, my sleep is important for me. I don't want to work. You might, you will have, it is natural for a person to have that attitude. But when you have this continuous calls where you can talk about and have some a 2 to 3 minutes break. We call it as a break. So we have a 2 to 3 minutes break every 1 hour or every 2 hours, where we talk about something other than hackathon. And then when the break ends, we jump back and we start doing our work. So this break is very important when you start working for 40 hours a day, 40 hours for a hackathon, or 24, or 48 hours, or 64 hours hackathon. These minute breaks helps your mind to get a bit refreshed so that you can concentrate on it. And always have a cup of tea or a coffee with you because you will be needing it. Trust me.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I do remember we used to, go on a lot of coffee breaks. We do drink a lot of tea during hackathons. And either when it's the hackathon period, it's like every weekend we are in some hackathon, or either we are participating or we are mentoring a hackathon. And sometimes Anush is judging it as well. So there's another point where I say GitHub can be your friend as well as a teammate. GitHub has this feature of Kanban boards, which is listed here. All you can do is backlog. It has a ready column, it has an in progress column, and it has a done column. So all you can do is you can list down the points you'll have to be working on during your hackathon, or what projects or what features you'll be needing in your application. So you can list them down here. And once you guys have done, it can even be collecting data. It can either be adding a small button, like adding a location button or adding a play button to your application. So you can just list it down here. And once it's in progress, once it's ready and you're ready to execute it, one person can pick it up and put it here, and it will be written by to whom it is assigned and who has picked it up. And after it's done, you can just push it to the in progress session when you started working on it. And once you're working on it, and after it's done, you can put it to the done section. This is another example of Kanban board, which I really enjoy, and I really do find it much more efficient, where it says there is a backlog option, there's a do next option, then you have the doing option where it's in progress, it says done, and after done, what's most important is, does that feature of yours which you included, does it work, or it has some bugs and one of the teammate did find it out. So all you can do is you can put in, like, if it's done, one of the teammate can come in and check it out, and two people can either check how efficient it is and how does it work, and after that it can just push it down to approved section. And yes, that's much more clear to your teammates. Yes, that you also have a pretty good list down here which says how many things are done and how many are pending. Here it says 68 are remaining, 28 hours remaining. So how many stuff are remaining, how many stuff are done, and by how many people it's approved, and how many people said yes, there's a bug in it. So yes, this is the most efficient way you can use your time. And the art of presentation. So Anush, we like to tell everyone how beautiful we can make a presentation. And as he's the winner of a hackathon as well, of Hack Africa, and he does really know the real art of presentation. So Anush, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So, art of presenting your idea. Yeah. So, while presenting to a judge, all a judge is looking at your idea is for a couple of things which he thinks will be useful for people. So, while presenting your idea, you need to clearly tell them what problem are you solving. Okay, that has to be very clear. Like, you need to be clear on the problem which you have decided to solve, and how are you going to solve it. So the second phase, how are you going to solve it, can come in multiple phases. So first you would define what problem are you solving, and your second part would be how are you solving it. So the second part of how you're solving it can be of multiple sections. So the first one is like you're gonna say whether you're trying to find a app which can do the work for you, or a model or a company kind of model, or a service which you're planning to provide to people, which would ultimately solve the particular problem. So now you have explained your idea, which is solution, to the judge. But is that all the judge wants? No, not all ideas are feasible enough to implement in real world. You can have hundreds of crazy ideas, but for that to be implemented in this world, we need it to be backed by some business model. Like, in this world, there is nothing without profits. Like, your idea, in order to just manage your day-to-day expenses of your particular idea, it has to make profit at one point of time. So you need to decide if the particular idea which you chose is actually solving the problem, and you need to tell them, you need to convince the judge how you're planning to solve the problem. Okay, so how the way you're going to do is like, commerce students might be familiar with the term business model, where you'll be doing the SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats. So you can talk about the current marketing, current market which is available for a particular problem. You can talk about the current. You can talk about why your idea hasn't. Your idea is unique and no one has implemented it, and you can talk about how your particular product can outshine the people and how useful it is. So you need to convince them that the idea which your idea is your product, the product which you are pitching for is actually usable by people, and it solves a particular people which we regularly encounter in our life. and you must have a clear idea about how you're going to market the particular product. So all these elements, small elements, should come into your particular idea, your particular presentation which you make. And one more thing, few tips on creating a presentation. Always, instead of you talking to the people with your cameras on, it is always better to go by a slide. A slide makes it look professional, and with the help of images and GIF makes it look professional. Like you don't want the judge to fall off from the chair just because he got bored of your idea, right? And you don't want to invent something which has already been invented. Don't reinvent the wheel. But if you can find a way to improve something which is already there, that would be something effective, that would be something more useful. There can be a problem and there can be a solution, but the product which is trying to solve that problem may not solve it exactly, and your idea might actually solve it. So every single idea which you have during this hackathon is gold, and I strongly urge you not to stop with this ideathon, but to go on to build your idea into reality. And the next thing to know is that you check about lot of templates which is available in the web. Don't follow this something, keep it simple. Just follow this, keep it simple. Don't overcloud your presentation, don't go into too many technical details. Remember, the judge who's going to judge you might not be a technical person, or might not be a very commerce oriented person, but he would have this knowledge for problems and solutions, and he'll be looking out for solution which he thinks like he is facing in his problem. Try to give more examples in real life, like connect with the person who is judging you. Next thing which you can do is like, you can have a decent editing. Don't add too many background noises to the don't add too many music and background noises to the video. Have a very pleasant music if you wish, but being natural is all is expected. And have a record your video, your presentation in a clear place where you don't have much of disturbance. And the good thing is here that we are not going to restrict ourselves to a particular language. You can make your video in English or Tamil, but make sure your video is professional and clear without any disturbance, and you stick to the point. And that's for how you make a presentation professional, neat. I would sure share some of my examples, some of the presentations which I used for my hackathon, and the presentation which I used to win my hackathon with you all, so that you guys can take a look and take some ideas from it. And I hope that would help you in winning this hackathon. So remember, we are going to judge you based on the video which you're going to provide us. So may that be the best you work. So always have minimum of 2 hours while creating the video. Give like your last 2 to 3 hours should be dedicated only to create the video. Remember that your ideas, your research, your model, your PPT, dashboard, whatever you're making to present your idea should be ready within the time period of the hackathon, and give 2 to 3 hours just to create the video, to edit it, trust me, we usually at hackathons we face this time crunch where our application wouldn't be ready by time, and we had to shoot it in last 1 hour, and we had to retake the entire video 4 to 5 times because we were given 2 minutes to present our idea the best possible way. And just think of from the judge side, that's the only video they have, and that is how they're going to judge. They don't know you, they don't know your idea. Your video is the way you're going to present it. So make sure it is clear, professional, and you don't have any audio disturbances in the back. And can we go to the next slide? Akshita, you're not audible.
Yeah. So whatever you guys plan on building, let it be, a small feature in Google Maps, or you'd want to improve Google Map APIs or add a new API to Google Maps, build a Chrome extension, build an entire VS Code extension, build an Edge extension, or work on some new idea. Any idea is welcome here. Just know every idea of yours, as Anush mentioned, it's pure, it's golden, it's something very new and unique. But they don't want a Facebook. They don't want an entire working application that you build. So even a slightest feature can be a huge win. I remember I've been to a lot of I've been to like 5 or 6 hackathons till now, and I've seen people who do win a hackathon, they implement something which is already there in the market, and they just try improvising on where it lags back. Like there'll be some things which will be holding it back. These days we're talking about Chrome, how Edge has overcome Chrome in just a few days, and there are some features in Chrome and some features in Edge which did say that Edge is much more better than Chrome and much more faster. So you can work on such features. There are so many ideas out there. Just look around you and you would find a lot of solutions. I just remember me and Anush and one more teammate of ours, we just have calls and we just discuss what problems exist in this world and how can technology come in as an asset to solve these problems. So you can try solving real world problems instead of just looking to build another ready-made solution. As Anush again mentioned, yes, some people do end up building what's already existing. I think we too did that mistake once of building up what already exists, and we thought of some implementing an entire new feature in that, but we couldn't build an entire new feature because what we thought is we'll go from the scratch. So that's one mistake you guys can avoid. Instead of going from the scratch, just have the platform already there. I've suggested to a lot many people at hackathons where I was mentoring, they were building dating apps. So it was something similar to Tinder and these dating apps these days. But they were building something. They had an idea to improvise on these dating apps. But the mistake they did, you have just 24 hours in hand, and these applications are built over time. They would have taken 2-3 years to come into action, and you're trying to build this entire thing in just 24 hours. You can't just do that. It might seem impossible, but if someone does end up doing that, it's great. You guys do put on a lot of hard work. But what's recommended to use your time efficiently and not freak out or stress out during the ideathon of yours? So what you can implement is pick up the feature, take the source code from GitHub, and there are so many sources. You can take it from GitLab as well. So you can just go take the source code, and after the source code's there with you, you can apply a few changes, add new features to that. And yes, you would have your solution ready, and that's how you would, take it down. You don't have to build an entire application, just a feature would do. And yes, our experience at an hackathon where we did reach the finals, a lot of mentors and the judges who were looking at our application did say, yes, this is an entire new application. It was fine by school, right, Anush?
Yes, we had actually built, and like our idea was to simplify the admission process. But what our idea was, it was very too ambitious that like we wanted to create an entire Facebook kind of app in a 2 day time, and that was actually a problem that led to a problem because 2 days is not too much, and once you start working on something, when you try to build something, it takes too long, and it is not easy to build an entire application in 2 days, and trying to do something which is too much might lead in problem. But for an idea turn, your ideas can be unrestricted and you don't have a time crunch. All you need to do is to show your ideas and research your idea and see if what your idea is actually implementable and it is something which people can use in everyday life. So that is something cool. But at one point of time, you have to implement your idea, and that's where hackathons come in. And in hackathons, you'll be building an application, and that is something whole lot different. So here in Ideathon, all you need to do is make sure that the work is evenly divided among people, and you make sure that you don't try to build something too big, too complicated. Keep it simple. A simple solution can change a lot, and you never know, it can be the best possible way. Like, people like it if things are simple, because people who are going to use your application or your idea won't not might not have the technical knowledge. They may not have technical knowledge to use it, but then they might have that problem. So research your idea well. Make sure that what you are trying to, a problem which you're trying to solve, is solvable, and it is solvable feasibly. Because a lot of time our ideas might not have the certain technology which is required to solve it existing. So you might try to have an idea about it, create a technology for that, or you can have your idea can be something which is using the existing technology to solve that particular problem. So here you need to make sure that your idea is feasible and research well before you go and present to yourself, and make sure you have facts and build on it.
Yes, having a survey before you start building your project would be a great explanation when you actually, give a presentation on why the solution should be considered. Because when you have, it would really give you a strong point. When there's someone you're explaining your project to, you would have facts and figures. You would be like, yes, this is the survey we conducted. This is the result we found out. This is the problem people do face, and this is a problem, but we have a solution to it, and here's the solution. So it gives you a really strong hold over the topic, and you do have actual data ready with you. You're like, yes, you did do a lot of research before building a solution for yourself. And yes, even putting down the video explanation, putting down your survey you conducted would also be a great asset. It would really help you, have an upper hand over your other teams out there, and even in future, it would be a great thing. So participating in hackathons it doesn't just pull you back; it gives you a lot more. So let's talk about what you gain from hackathons. So
Thank
the
you.
very first thing, hello, yeah,
Yeah. Um,
okay.
yeah, go on, go on.
So the very first thing you gain from a hackathon is projects, and resume building would be like amazing, because when you sit in a placement interview, or you just sit for any of your internship interviews, they would ask you, what projects have you built, what's your tech stack, what is your source of interest. So if you do enjoy Python, you do like programming in Python, you can go down with web scraping projects, and in your team you can build an entire application and you can do the web scraping part. So you can tell, this was a project me and my team made, and this was my role in it. So I played the role of web scraping, which involves so and so tech stack. Like, we can say, if you're building an Android application, you can say, yes, I worked on Flutter department, and I work with Firebase, and one can say, I work with a machine learning model on TensorFlow. This is how you guys can collaborate and build an entire working application, and it will be a great for all of your resumes, not just one. And when you go down to build projects in real life and not in hackathons, what you end up with, you do take a lot of time to build a project. And I have noticed that I have actually seen this. A lot of people do actually end up working more when they are under a lot of pressure and they are pushed a lot. And they said, yes, if you have a deadline to something, you do end up you do end up completing the entire thing, and you're just like, yes, we need to complete it now. But whereas in real life, if you plan, okay, let's just build an application, and you're working with your friends and you're in college, and you would be like, okay, let's postpone it for today. We have an assignment coming up. We have a few exams. Or you can have exams coming. You can be like, oh, we have to prepare for exams. We have to prepare for internals. So let's push this to the afterwards, after a week. And when your internals get over, you might be like, internals just got over. Let's just take a break. And you might take a break, you might not really come back. So what happens in a hackathon, it's give you an edge over time, and you'd be like, yes, you'd really be working towards this, and you'd be like, yes, you need to work towards it. You'd be like, yes, we need to build an application, this is the deadline, and you actually end up building the full-fledged application, and you can just put it down in a resume saying that, yes, we have an entire application ready, it's up and running. So that'll again be a great push to your resume. And networking, yes, you do meet a lot of people. Trust me, you meet mentors, you meet people with similar ideas, or people you can even contact the winners. You can see, okay, who won the hackathon or who had great ideas. You can contact them, you can get in touch with them and be like, okay, so you might not know there's someone else in your college or in your classmate. They can be like, the black sheep, or we say chupa rustam in Hindi. So it's like, okay, so that person, you don't really know that person would know a skill, or that person would be like very quiet and out of the world. But that person does know a lot. That person might know data science. That person might know machine learning. It might that person might know, he can work on TensorFlow models. He can work on machine learning models. He can give you the best APIs. He can build amazing APIs though. So you never know who knows what. And this hackathons and Ideathon is the best way to meet similar-minded people and amazing people to connect with. You can even connect with the judges and panelists, and most of the judges in hackathons do come down from either IBM, Google, Microsoft, and other great companies. So you to get a chance to drop them a message, say them that yes, we are from so and so hackathon and we did see you as a judge, you did judge a project, and we'd like to connect with you for further guidance. And the third one, leadership skills. You do learn leadership skills. You do be like, yes, you all take independent leadership of yourself. In a group, there's no one called a leader and no one else are followers. You just have everyone is an independent leader, because everyone knows about one technology, and you might just tell them, okay, this is how this is the technology I know, and this is how the technology which I am aware of can be an asset to our project or an idea. And you can work forward towards those leadership skills would actually develop when you interact with people, when you go out, take the lead, and say, when you're especially giving presentations, you would be like, yes, we're giving a presentation, and you do have leadership skills. Do you be confident? You'll be independent of people out there. You would be like, okay, you have a good team, you just not dependent on them. You know your tech stack, you know what you can do the best for your team, and you're putting out your best. That's the most important leadership skill. Where it comes in is taking the lead role. You just take charge of the entire thing, and you're like, yes, we can do this, let's take it forward. This is the tech stack I'm going to lead. This is the tech stack I would lead. Someone would lead cloud, someone would lead Google API, someone would lead Azure, someone might lead, you can also go on and lead machine learning. You'd be like, okay, I can work on the entire data set, give the data set to me, and I'll take charge of it. And building leadership skills also to add on to your resume. And yes, having leadership skills on your resume, and this is every company out there, or any company out there would first look for leaders, because they need someone who would be there, who would stand independent and be responsible for their actions. Creativity. When you start building applications, you do get a creative. You do be like, okay, this is something new. While working on it, I do remember me and Anush used to work on hackathons, and even if it's night 3 o'clock, it doesn't matter to us. We would call each other and you'd be like, oh, this is something new feature I found out. We can add this down, and this is how we can add it down. So you explore, you think. We used to see videos. We do enjoy during hackathons. We do go explore, learn more during hackathons, and we'd be like, okay, let's learn a new tech stack. We learn an entire new tech stack, and we can be like, okay, after we learn that, we might see a few more videos on how they've implemented it and how there's similar projects out there. Like when we were building Find My School, we were like, okay, these are the applications. Like there's Shiksha.com, there are so many other applications out there. Shiksha.com is a great portal. It has a lot of colleges there itself. So we were like, Times of India also has a good ranking of colleges and universities and schools. So we did go out and explore, and we were like, okay, so this is one feature we can have in ours. How can we make it more accessible to the users out there? Never think of your benefit. Always think of how it'll benefit the people, how it will be useful for everyone else out there, and how it will be like, okay, this is something different, this is something new, and yes, it will really help the people. They would enjoy it. There's this application which came up. It merged down all the applications you have on your phone, and it reduced the space. It was on cloud. I don't remember the application name, but it did put your YouTube, Skype, Google, Chrome, and all other in one application. And it was all other in one application, and after one application, you just open that application, it's all stored on cloud, all your accounts are open. You just have to click on that and you can access it. It reduces the storage in your space, which is People who play PUBG and they have Android phones, they do have this problem of storage. So you can be like, okay, you can, this is something which did help people, and a lot of people did end up using it. So yes, that's how you can just get creative, think about something new, something, be like, okay, this is something we can actually work on. Storage of a mobile phone, who would even think of that? You'd be like, okay, it's just storage, let's delete some applications. But who would think, okay, let's just shift the entire phone apps to cloud? So that's, even this, as Anush told, even the slightest idea can make you win it. It can be the most efficient and the most beautiful idea you guys can have. So yes.
Wow, thank you so much, Akshita. That was seriously great.
Thank you, Anush. So that's over to you. Anush is going to tell you what's next and how do you go next in this ideathon. What's more for you? So
Thank
Anush,
you.
what's over to you?
Thank you. So what's next for you guys? So we'll be from here. Once you build the idea, all you have to do is the next phase where you'll be working on the idea. If your idea is really solving a particular problem, and the idea which you have come up is something unique, something great, you can go on to start working on the idea and make a product or something which is usable by people and start it as a startup. So your idea can be the next big company. So keep working on the idea and keep hustling. Thank you for listening, for your patience in listening our talks. So I'm and the moment is here. So we will be sharing the three topics which you'll be spending your weekend in hacking, in thinking, and solving that particular problem. The three topics are something which we are currently going through, and it is something norm which needs immediate address and ideas. So these three topics are general topics, and you have to find you can have it as a whole, or you can find a particular problem and go on to create a solution for that. So let me really reveal the three topics to you. The first topic which you're going to solve would be education. So the first topic for you to solve is education. Education, as we know, are changing. We A few months ago, if someone has told us that we'll be attending all our classes through online through Google Meet, we would have taught him, ah, what a dreamer. Like, come on, this is not going to happen. But look where we are now. And technology has helped us to continue our learning even after a pandemic is after us. So education, as we know today, needs a lot of change, and there are some innovative ideas on how you can like a lot of people still doesn't have proper access to education. So education as a problem has a lot of opportunities to solve, a lot of problems to solve, and you can really have a lot of ideas coming out in the education time. And the second topic for you guys to work on is anti-corruption. Corruption is kind of a worldwide problem now, and we have it everywhere. But it shouldn't be. Leaders must be accountable for what they do. So corruption is something which needs address soon, and this is something which you can work on. Your idea can be anything. It can be some anti-corruption app, or it can be something which is innovative. Like, think about it. There are lot of problems in corruption field itself, not just the sending and giving money, like finding the root cause of the corruption, and like why how to stop prevent at the root. Like, there are a lot of problems which you can think on. The next topic is post COVID. So we might be soon exiting the COVID phase. We are being leaving the COVID phase, and we are trying to get back into normal. And there are a lot of problems, there are a lot of issues which has to be addressed before we can completely get back to normal. And remember, there is still virus out on the streets. So we must look into the issues which we have to come to normal. Like, we can't keep staying inside at home for long. We have jobs, we have education to look after. So what can be done when we start going back to normal? Like, we can't continue this lifestyle which we had. We might never be able to continue the lifestyle which we had. So what do you think are the issues post COVID, and what are some ideas, some innovative techniques that you can use to make the transition much more easier and easier for people and safer? So these three topics, anti-corruption, education, and post-COVID situations, are the three topics which you're going to spend your weekend to innovate, to find an answer, to find a solution on, and may the best solution win. Thank you. Let me give the mic over to Danush and Nitila.
Thank you so much, Anush and Akshita, for your great insights about the Ideathon and for enlightening me and the participants as well about the event. Now I call upon Ashmita K to give away the vote of thanks.
Thank you. So, I, Asmita, on behalf of PSC College of Arts and Science and the entire faculty of management, I express my heartfelt thanks to our Secretary Sir, Dr. T. Kannan, our Principal Ma'am, Dr. Pritha, and our Vice Principal, Dr. A. Amraj, for giving us this opportunity. The next part I also like to thank our head of studio, our staff coordinator, and the organizers, Anush Krishna and Jenny, for organizing this. A very hearty gratitude to all the participants of Spark. To extend my thanks to the nation of people. Thank you everyone for your presence and it's been a great night. Thank you.
Thank you all for.
Great success. Uh, it is an immense pleasure to be in this event. Hoping there will be a great battle this weekend. So until then, this is Danu signing off, and best wishes for all the
Nitila
participants.
signing
Thanks.
off, and also Nitila signing off. All the best for everybody, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Have a nice weekend.